Hello, everybody. You're listening to Profoundish. I'm Alex, and I'll be joined by my co-host, Weston, as we dig deep into a topic that really matters, shopping for clothes. Later, we'll be ranking our favorite articles of clothing from best to worst. Stick around and stay tuned. You're listening to Profoundish. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Profoundish. My name is Alex Duquette.
And I'm Weston Hasty.
That is your name, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
I haven't changed it yet.
Are you planning on it?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. You could change it to, like, Heston Wasty.
That sounds
Actually
awful.
sounds horrible.
Please, we do not ever speak the reverse name ever again.
Well, just last week we talked about, like how proud you are of, like, your last name, and, like,
That's right.
There could be a meaning behind it and stuff.
It's such a good name. It's short, it's sweet, it's simple, it's a word. Hasty's just a beautiful word for a name. I don't know about Wasty. Whatever you just said, Heston Wasty, that's my, like, devil name. That's like my shadow Weston that exists in the depths of Hades.
See, knowing you as you are, and then just imagining a shadow Weston, just that is a horrifying thought. So we don't want to stay there. I know for me, I mean, Alex Duquette's strange enough, but I mean, I could be a Daleks Uquette. I don't know, Daleks. That's a strange name.
Auquette. AU is the abbreviation for gold on the elemental period table. You are gold. Alex Gold. You are Daleks Gold. Daleks Gold, that's your name. Yep, that's your...
Daleks Gold kind of sounds like an athlete for like some sort of sport. I don't know what. Daleks Gold.
I'm
Gold
just
golf, maybe?
I can't think of, like, an athlete. Like, I don't know if it's just because, like, Gold's Gym or something like that, more like athletic, or if it would be like, kind of sounds like a stripper name or something.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the front pole. I don't know what they say. I've never been in a building like that.
Daleks Gold attending the first pole.
What song would play if Daleks Gold is out there? What song would it be?
It has to be some sort of modern techno pop remix of some rando Beatles song, just to get your, like...
Or hear me out. Yeah, that's good, but hear me out. Or Journey into Discord.
Are we trying to empty? Are we trying to empty the strip club? Every dude in that club's gonna be like, "What is this?"
Yeah, that's for, like, the Wednesday at 3 p.m. crowd. You know what I mean? Like, not the Friday night crowd. That's the Wednesday at 3 p.m. Some weirdo is going in there on his lunch break.
Everybody tune
That's
into
the crowd I'd play for.
Episode 0 of Profoundish, the pilot episode, to know what Journey into Discord is supposed to sound like. It is my opus, my magnum opus, my greatest work ever devised.
Yes, definitely listen to it. It's a beautiful song. But we digress. Weston, there's been something that's been plaguing my mind.
Oh no.
And I kind of want to bring it up to you, kind of get your take on it, and just kind of see. I want to know your experience, and I want to know your habits of this particular topic. So I thought I'd bring it up here.
Okay.
It's a little something called clothes shopping. You know, shopping for clothes, right?
Oh no.
So I would love to know, because this is genuinely something a topic that you and I usually don't discuss, is clothing, and particularly shopping for clothes. And there's a lot of aspects you can look at it. You know, I'd love to know when it's done, where you do it. I'd love to know the frequency at which it's done. That sort of thing. So that's kind of what I would like to talk about.
I am taking this clip out of context later for personal use.
Feel free.
I want to know where you do it, how long you do it, when you do it.
The frequency at which you do it. I want to know. Tell me when you do it, where you do it. So shopping for clothes, right? I guess I'll kind of lead into it. This is something that my journey with shopping for clothes has been a strange one, because I'm not the kind of guy that enjoys shopping for anything, to be honest with you. I don't know if you share that sentiment or not.
I'm not a big shopper. No.
Yeah, it's just kind of it's a necessity at times, and that's kind of all I really see it as, including clothes. Clothes is probably one of my least favorites, but there are times in which I kind of need to do it, whether it's, you need to get a suit for like a wedding or a job or really anything. Sometimes your old socks with 6 holes in them just don't work anymore. I got to get new ones,
It's weird. Actually, I think my least favorite part about shopping is going shopping, convincing myself to go. That's like the worst part.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to go. I know it's going to be a time sink, whatever. Weirdly enough, once I'm shopping, I maybe I get this from my mom because I know my parents. My dad is the type, right? You go to a store with, I know I need these 3 things. I know exactly where these 3 things are. I'm in, I've grabbed the 3 things, I'm out. My mom is
Fair.
let's go in, wander up and down every aisle. I know what I need, but I mean, what if I see something else?
Right.
I'm somewhere in between. I have acquired, apparently, habits from both. I always felt like I was more like my dad. I know what I need. I know where to get it. I'm in. I'm out. Done. But I don't know if I've just gotten a little older and my mom's genes have kicked in. I walk into a store. I'm like, I know what I need to get. I'm going to get those things first. And then,
Yep.
And then, well, if it hasn't been too long and I'm not in a hurry, let's go wander this. Let's just go kind of peruse just a little bit. There is a limit. I think it's like a time limit. It's like an internal clock where if we reach a certain amount of time that I've spent shopping, I'm starting to get itchy. I'm starting to get like hot. I'm like, I have to leave.
Your body has a response after it's been a certain amount of time.
I have a physiological response to the length of time I spend shopping. But I kind of do a little bit of the both. I'm in, I grab the nice stuff that I know I need, and then I kind of do a little wander.
Well, I will say this. That is something that I've, and I mean, this is very recently, I would say in the recent past couple years, my significant other is much like your mom in the sense of, at least in the shopping sense. I don't know if she's anything else like your mom besides that, but it's, so she likes to do that. And for me, it's always, and this is a very cliche, thing. It's like, I want to go to Target or wherever you want to go. And I'm like,
love
okay,
Target.
let's go.
No cap, as the kids say.
So, well, do kids say that? Do they still say that, or are we already past that?
I don't know. I don't know what they say.
By the time I hear them, I feel like we're already moved on. But anyway, so I'll go in there with her, and it's one of those things where she needs to get something, and I'm just going in there because I'm with her that day, right? But it ends up being never like I cannot wait to go back again. But while I'm there, it's similar to what she said. It's like she got what she needed. She wants to peruse a little bit longer. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can go to the book section, or I can go to the graphic tee section and see if there's a cute video game shirt I might want. So I understand. I do. But the clothes itself, Weston. The clothes itself.
Specifically the clothing.
Specifically clothing. I guess a great place to start maybe is how often, like when you have to finally come up with, like, okay, I got to do it. You said that's one of the hardest parts is just getting up and going to actually do it.
Yeah.
Is this, how often is this occurrence for you? Is it a seasonal thing? Is it less than that?
Oh, it's so much
I actually
less.
really want to know this. This is interesting to me.
It's so much less.
Yep.
It's so much less. So clothing, I have not physically changed body shape over the last, God knows how long, like 15 years. So like I
could speak to that.
I don't gain a lot of weight. I have certainly not lost any weight. I don't know what I weigh right now. I need to go check, but it's always the same, so I never worry about it. I have a scale that goes unused for months. But so what I'm trying to say is that a lot of my clothes that I've acquired, it's like they still fit. They don't need thrown out or anything, with the exception of some raggedy tees that I use for like around the house when I'm not going anywhere that they might have a hole in it, but like they're just like a slouching sweat in them. Just who cares what happens to them? Right. They would be perfect painting shirts if I ever touched a paintbrush, that kind of thing. But other than that, I've got sort of this main line of clothes that, depending on the season, if it's cold or hot, I got my khaki shorts and I got my jeans. And I've got several pairs of each, and that's my pants. For my shirts, if it's warm out, I've got these sort of, everything I own is like dad shirts. I have these sort of like the 3-button short sleeve shirts. I've got like 4 colors. And I alternate between those 4 shirts, all spring and summer, basically. I have some t-shirts that I wear that I have that some of them are like my shirts that I sell, and some of them are just like random like striped shirts. I've got a handful of striped shirts that I wear too when I need to look like slightly nicer. It's like slightly more dress uppy because they have like a collar. So I've got like 4 different, which is funny. No, I've got 5 different, but 3 of them are like identical. They're red and white striped collared shirts. I look like Waldo. I am Where's Waldo or Dad shirting it up. It's one of those 2 things. And in the winter, right, I have an equivalent where they're all long-sleeved kind of versions of that, where they've got the 3 buttons, they're long sleeves, they might have stripes or not. I wear like the same goddamn thing. I cycle through the same shirts all year long, basically. So when it comes to shopping, it's funny that you mentioned this. I've been thinking that I need to go through all my old stuff because I was just at my parents' the other day helping them move some furniture at their house. And it so happened to be in my old room. In my old room, in that closet, still has a bunch of old clothes that I'm literally never going to wear again. And it reminded me that I need to go through the clothes that I have now, toss it, and I want to buy some new clothes. So when you said, like, how often do I shop? We're getting to it. We're getting right up on it. It hasn't happened yet. The time is nearing. The time is nigh that I need to go shopping for some clothes.
Right.
The shorts and jeans, that's just whenever I feel like I need it. When one pair rips or one pair starts to kind of wear down, get a new pair right away. But that's like maybe once, like that's like once a year, roughly.
But it's more of like an as-needed kind of basis.
It's like an as-needed basis, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I understand that. To be honest with you, I share a very similar frequency at which I go. So, of course, it's just a couple of dudes who's just never grabbing any new clothes.
I mean, basically.
Yeah, it's a similar... But I do want to say this, though. It is funny because I know, as many listeners know or may not know, Weston and I have been friends for many years. We just visited each other fairly recently, and you had a shirt that I know that I've seen for years.
I've been wearing it for years.
It was the I think it's like white and gray striped polo shirt. You might have a couple of those. I don't know, but
I think I remember the one that I wore that on vacation. Yeah, I've had that literally. I think I've had that since high school. Yeah,
and I didn't think one thing of it because I wouldn't. I just remember looking back at a picture that we took that night, and I'm thinking, "Oh my God, that just looks like Weston 10 years ago."
I mean, yeah.
Like, when was this picture taken?
Not to like spoil our youthful appearance for anyone that is going to be shocked by this, but yeah, we graduated like over 10 years ago. That shirt that you saw me wearing, I've had since longer than that. Like I had it through high school, so that's like a 14-year shirt, like a 14-year-old short shirt. Like,
that's pretty good shape.
It's into its teens. That shirt is. It's starting to get kind of like greasy and starting to like acne's showing. I need to buy
angsty.
It. It's a little the shirt's getting a little angsty. Gives me some sass from time to time.
That's nuts. I do have some shirts that are that old. But a lot of mine have become. The thing is with me, I guess I'll start here. Is that I have just recently done what you're probably about to do.
Yeah.
Which is kind of take the plunge, get some new stuff, right? And I think one reason why I've always struggled to go shopping unless I needed to. So I'll go through my kinds of things. So you mentioned your shorts and your jeans. For me, it's very similar. So I have my jeans, which I have a whole tangent on jeans I want to get into in a second. My journey to finding the pair of jeans that I actually think I look good in. That's a different story for a moment.
It sounds simple when you're young, but when you get older, you're like, no, I need my pair of jeans.
Yes, and it's hard because for the longest time, Mom does it for you.
Yeah.
You don't know. And okay, so anyway, I got my jeans. I have my shorts as well. I just prefer just thin shorts, and then whatever thin means. I don't like all the pockets. I used to. I just kind of switched to the non-pocket shorts.
I'm the complete opposite. All the pockets.
Well, hey, functionality, right? I get
yes.
it. And then for the top, which Weston can probably he can probably say it himself, but for me it is just like I could him. I do button-down shirts, or I just do solid colored plain tees. Basically, those are pretty much the two kinds of shirts that I do. And of course, then you got your various jackets and coats during the wintertime or whatever. But That's kind of what I do. And one reason why I'm glad that I've picked up that particular, and similar to your polos and stuff, that style, like just the button down, similar to like the striped polos, is that those really never kind of go out of style. They kind of just are always there. Like they never look dated, if that makes sense.
Yeah, not like dated to an era of any kind. It's just something that I think it's definitely dated in the sense that once you reach that point, you are definitely an adult. Like you don't see kids wearing that, like, you know, teenagers or whatever. So it's like, oh, he's an adult. But beyond that, they're not dated. They always work. They work in just about every circumstance. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Every event you could go to, they work.
Yeah. It's funny because you mentioned that. I was that kid. I was the middle schooler who was wearing plaid shirts because I wanted to. And I remember...
Yeah.
I don't know why. I actually picked up that habit from... I don't know if he was a mutual friend of ours or not, but I knew it was somebody in our class, and he always did it, and I thought, that looks so cool. And I think it only looked cool because he was the only other kid wearing, like, plaid shirts. But that's actually... Speaking of dated, though, I do want to say this. Plaid is slightly more dated than... Like, the more modern-looking kind of button-down shirts now are, like, the really funky designs.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I have noticed that, and I do have those shirts now. I don't really wear much plaid. Now I just wear, like, solid-colored button-downs or, like I have this one that's one of my favorites. It's got, like, little anchors on it. I love it, my little anchors. Or I got, like, a floral one. It almost looks kind of Hawaiian shirty. But, so I guess that's changed, but the overall shirt itself, the style of shirt, I mean, it's not going to go out of style anytime soon. But
the idea of it isn't, and I think, like you said, in school, like if you're wearing like plaid or button down or whatever, it's like a statement. It like stands out, but it's certainly not not like what's in fashion. But if you do it, it can be like your style, but it's like never the fashion. And then I don't know, the sort of button down, funky design plaid stuff is more popular now with the different designs. I don't even know. I don't know how to verbally describe it exactly, but I think they're a little more. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say bright, but like outlandish, a little bit more like garish or something. Like they're more in your face designs, I think, more
and
loud.
I actually do think that itself is kind of trendy, and that's not going to stick around forever. I don't think that particular. I just feel like the design maybe will change again. Like maybe all of a sudden we'll be over. We're over having weird like little baby school buses all over your shirt. You know, it'll be like something different again, I think. But could be wrong. I know nothing about fashion, and I don't claim to.
And we don't really have to.
We really don't.
For so many reasons. One, it's not like we're, I don't know, celebrities where people are like scrutinizing our attire. So one, no one's scrutinizing us, so who cares? Because that's one thing you discover when you get older. Wear what you're comfortable in and what you like, because honestly, no one else cares. So you might as well do you. And then two, the stuff that we're wearing, again, regardless of what design it is, the idea is not going anywhere. Guys, we're both two dudes. We got it pretty easy. Right. We don't have like a lot of, like we have some different cuts and shapes and styles. Like we have some, but like they're all relatively in the same realm of the same idea. Whereas if you are a fashionably attuned woman, you can have all kinds of different. I sometimes I'll see like the garments themselves. Like if you're going to go clothes shopping, you wander down the women's aisle to get to the men's, or maybe you just wander to the wrong side of the building or whatever. Somehow I always end up walking by women's clothing, like if I go to a Target or something like that, to get to wherever I'm going. Right. And sometimes I'll see different garments they just look like bundles of fabric, and I don't understand how you would shape it into a shirt or something. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, and it's literally like, it almost seems like a puzzle. Like an equation. Like, how can I like put these things together? However, maybe in their defense, you know, if you ever like pick on a woman or somebody who does shop a lot, whether they're a man or a woman, like you have a lot of options, right? Maybe if you are in tune with that, you can experiment. I don't take those risks.
I think it's something that if you're into it, it's something that could be really fun to do if that's what you're really into. Right. But for me, I'm not. So that looks like overly complicated. there was this outfit my girlfriend was trying to figure out if she was trying to figure out some outfit for work or something, whatever it was. And basically her shirt she had figured out, but she had this like overshirt or like cardigan, or I don't even know what it was, because she pulls this out and she like put it on, and it like folded, and then she had to like tie it, and I'm like, what is this thing that you're putting? And it was kind of like, it was just basically like an overshirt, like kind of like if you had an undershirt and you put like a button-up shirt on top of it. It was like that, but it wasn't a button-up shirt. It was just this overshirt thing that she like tied behind her, kind of. And I'm like, I don't even, when you picked that up, I had no idea what that was going to turn into.
Interesting. Yeah, and in the men's section, you just don't see things like that very often. You go in there, you got your jeans, you got different cuts, right? You got different kinds of jeans, sure. And then, you got your different sizes of shirts and whatnot, but it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
At least from my experience. Is there okay, let's say you're planning on going, right? Do you have... Is Target where you would plan on going?
No.
Or is there a particular place you prefer to go?
Actually, it's funny. I like Target. I never clothes shop there, which is hilarious to me. But I usually do all of my clothes shopping. If it's something that I want to get cheaply, I'll run through like Walmart or, something similar. We've got a Meijer close, like right next to our Walmart, in case the Walmart looks stupid busy. Meijer's usually less busy. So just some super center. If I need to grab like a pair of jeans, they usually have jeans at work or something like that, or a shirt or something like that. But if I'm going clothes shopping, like I'm going to go get shoes. Like I get shoes about once a year. We didn't talk about shoes. I get shoes about once a year. If I'm getting shoes, if I'm getting new shirts or something, I go to very specifically, and I used to have a card with them, but over the pandemic, I stopped shopping and deactivated. I go to Kohl's. Kohl's. Yeah, I don't know, actually, now that I think about it, I don't know how widespread Kohl's is, but, there's plenty of Kohl's around here. You grew up here in Illinois, so we've got lots of Kohl's. I don't know.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know how widespread they are, but it's a clothing store, and I go to Kohl's for most of my all my clothing, actually.
It's funny. For some reason, I had no idea like what you were gonna say, but I'm still surprised by Kohl's.
You don't ever hear anyone talking about Kohl's. I never do.
Right. Well, goodness. I guess I will say for me, I don't know if this is where a lot of like men in their late 20s would go, but for me, I'm usually a JCPenney guy.
JCPenney, I've been through there a few times for things, but usually I opt for Kohl's. But
I will say I'm kind of a creature of habit, and the biggest reason why I go there is because when mommy shopped for me when I was young, she was always a JCPenney gal, and I've just kind of carried that over into my own thing. I discovered the brands that I like the retailer specific brands and stuff. I just found the brands that I liked, and I just kind of went for it. So I usually found it safe. There's a brand, shout out, I guess, to them. Not a sponsor.
I'm sure
Arizona is what they're called.
Yeah, Arizona needs this shout out. No one's heard of Arizona.
No one's heard of Arizona. I used to get their like V-necks and like their I used to get their jeans too back when I was first shopping for myself.
I've had some Arizona jeans, yeah.
But if you don't mind, I do want to quickly share my my jeans journey.
Do it. Share with me your journey of the jean.
Journey of the jeans. There's your third song. Get to it.
I'm on it.
So it starts off with just the sound of a denim like jean zipper just going.
Oh, the zipper. I was just imagining like the fabric of the legs just roughing up against each other. Like static.
No, that's what happens next. So the song starts with you zipping up the jeans, and then you start walking. You start your day. And then when the song ends, you unzip the zipper.
Oh my God. It's just ASMR of me walking for an hour.
It's actually not a bad idea, but we'll get back to this. So my jeans journey, I would love to know if you've shared this feeling with me, or if this is just a me problem.
Sure.
So even when, at any age, I'm talking 10, I'm talking 18, I'm talking 25, okay? That recent. I've never been 100% happy in the jeans I've worn in terms of how they look on me. And I never knew why. And I always tried different kinds of jeans, but then I would always see somebody else, whether it were a friend or somebody on TV, and I'd go, that's what I want to look like in jeans. And don't get me wrong, like I asked, like for example, I had a roommate for a while who had a pair of jeans that I thought, I want to wear those jeans. I want to look good in those jeans. So I asked him what kind he had. I can't remember what kind they were now, but I got the brand and I got the kind, because there's different cuts of jeans, obviously.
Right.
You got your slim, you got your skinny, you got your regular, your boot cut. There's others that I'm forgetting.
Straight,
slim,
relaxed.
It never ends. And so I tried his. It didn't look good on me because guess what? Surprise, surprise. We have different body types.
Right.
So this was realistically when I started. Let's say I was 18 when I really started shopping for myself. Let's just say that.
Let's just say that. It's not true. It started last year, but let's just say 18.
Yeah, it started last year. Well, you'd be surprised for a long time after, like right after high school, I would like ask mom, hey mom, what kind of brand of this did you get me? Because I didn't know. But yeah, so let's say for almost a decade, it took me almost a decade to find the pair of jeans, and I would try different kinds. So for the longest time, I would do, I started with boot cut. For some reason, I liked how they fit. And then it's going to get kind of personal and weird, but then I realized I don't really like these. I like how they look on the bottom, but I don't like how they look around my thighs. They make my thighs look huge. And I just didn't like that. I want them to look kind of more straight. So don't get me wrong, I tried the slim jeans. I tried that. That was a little too skinny, a little uncomfortable in areas where it needed to be a little more breathable. And then it's been since I moved to Tennessee, so it actually hasn't been that long. So I'd say maybe 3 years ago, I went to JCPenney, as I always do, and I went over to a section that I never go to, and it was the step right above skinny.
Okay.
Because I thought, that's too tiny. It's not going to work for me. But I just decided to try and put them on, which is the next step up, I believe, is slim straight.
Oh.
They're slim, and then they're slim straight.
Okay, I didn't know that. I don't think I knew there was a slim straight. Okay.
Yeah, so slim, I believe, just goes all the way down, and it's it gets kind of tight at the bottom of your legs, and it's just tight all the way up. Slim straight, it's a mixture of slim and regular. So it's still very slim, very kind of modern, slim looking, but at the bottom, it's not so tight. It doesn't feel like you're losing circulation around your legs. And I was so excited. I took a picture of myself. I was like in the mirror, like doing things I would never do. I'm like in like the dressing room, taking pictures, going, this is what I've been wanting to look like for so long. And I'm not kidding, Weston. My life changed that day. And I mean this because I finally felt confident in what I wore. I already liked the shirts I wore. I knew how I liked them to fit. But I finally got my jeans to look how I want, and I've never looked back. And I just wanted to share that because I'm very happy about it.
That's amazing. I'm very happy for your journey of the jean, actually.
Thank you.
I get once you find the thing that you're comfortable, like actually truly comfortable in, you're like, this is how I want to look. This is how I want to feel. That's right. An amazing feeling. I try to wear I wear like and it depends on the brand sometimes too, but the branded jean, which I'd have to go look, I don't even remember off the top of my head. When I go shopping, I have to look at my jeans to remember what brand I buy. But the brand that I buy a relaxed fit because my thighs are a little thicker than my calves are. So like the jeans that I used to wear, because I used to be skinnier than I am now. I'm not large by any stretch, but I used to be real skinny. Were getting too tight on me, and I don't know why. I just accepted that as a part of my life, that I'm going to be struggling to wear my jeans. And then once I found the right fit, which is like this relaxed fit for this one brand that I buy, it just opened up, like you said, like really around those thighs and right around the waist or whatever. It's like, oh my God. I'm in heaven because I'm wearing jeans, but this is bliss.
Right, you feel better, but you also, like physically, but you also feel better because you know you look better.
Yeah, and I like the...
it's a double whammy.
I like the cut, and then I also like the color, because color of jean can be important if you're like sort of a light wash, dark, or some other variation. So the coloring is good, and like, yeah, you're like, this is basically how I like to look. So right. I don't know if my journey was nearly as spiritual as yours was, but I'm glad for you.
I think... Well, maybe, I don't know when you discovered that was the right fit for you, because for me, it was so long. I think if it were just like a year or two of me figuring it out, that's one thing. But literally, since I was in junior high, I never liked how I looked in jeans. So it was an emotional experience. It really was. So I did want to ask this too, before we move on to our next segment. Dressing rooms themselves. What are your opinions on the dressing room experience? I wanted to get to that.
I don't have a lot of opinions other than the fact that half the time you can't find someone stationed at them to get into them. But depending on where you go. For the most part, I don't feel the need to go into a dressing room if I know I'm buying a familiar brand. If I know I'm buying a familiar brand. So it's like, this is the same brand of jean, same size, same cut or whatever. I can come in, I'm going to buy this jean. I'm going to walk out. I'm going to feel pretty confident that it's going to fit when I come home. And it pretty much always does. If I'm trying something a little bit different, which, again, don't clothes shop very often at all. But if I do, then, I kind of look around and try to find a corner of the store to get naked in, and there you go.
You mind if I scoop you down right here? Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go into one of those circle racks at Walmart and just strip down. No one was manning the fitting booth, so, I just had to improvise.
Are there any children around?
Avert their gaze!
Oh my goodness. My experience is a little different only because of the jeans journey we just talked about.
Yeah.
I actually do have a kind of a stronger opinion. I wouldn't say the word hate, but I'm lazy and I don't want to take the time to do it.
Right.
But the issue is that I was always trying to find the perfect pair for years. So I'd kind of have to go in there, but it's like, oh my gosh, I gotta go in there, gotta take off my pants.
Yeah.
I gotta, undo my belt, unzip the zipper, take them off. I got tennis shoes on. I gotta take those off first. There's just, and then once you're done, you look at it, you don't like it. You gotta put your pants back on, or your other shirts or whatever, or your other shorts or whatever. Put your shoes back on, head back out there. It's just such a long journey.
Yeah, it's actually a surprising length of time it takes to take off and put on your clothes, especially when you're doing it over and over again. When I was younger, as a kid or as a teenager or whatever, when I'd go clothes shopping with my mom, usually, because we were all growing, because I was a growing boy or whatever, we always had to try on everything to make sure it fit. And so,
right,
when I would go to the fitting room, I would have so many pairs of whatever, like so many shirts or jeans or whatever, so many pairs. So it was like to go through and try on these 10 different pants felt like this huge long ordeal. It felt like it was taking half an hour to do, to put on and look at, and maybe it didn't take half an hour, but even if taking off your clothes and putting on your clothes was 1 minute and you're going through 10 pairs, that's bare minimum 10 minutes, right? So you're just sitting in that little booth, which is probably way too hot. Also, you're putting on and taking off clothes, so you're just kind of shuffling in and out of clothes. So you're getting kind of hot, you're getting kind of uncomfortable. I get it. No, I don't like spending any more time in a fitting room than absolutely necessary. The saving grace now is that I don't need to try on so many clothes at a time anymore. If I feel like I need to try something on, it's one thing or two.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal. But yeah, definitely growing up as a kid with no say basically in my fashion, did not enjoy, did not like.
Yeah, and luckily I can share that with you now too, since I've pretty much know my brands and my sizes and everything, so I can just, in worst case, if you got to come back and return something, you can. It's not a huge deal.
Yeah, it's usually pretty easy now.
Just get it done.
Unless you're around holiday season when everyone's returning stuff and it's a whole ordeal. But if it's normal time of the year or whatever, you just wander up to the customer service hey, I got to return this, and that cool. You want store credit? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Bring it on. Bring on the credit.
Go swap out.
Right. Not a big deal. Well, Weston, I'm sure this is something. I'm sure you're dying to get to our segment here, and you don't even know what it is yet. This is all news to you.
Mostly, I'm just dying.
So mostly you're just dying, but aren't we all?
One day at a time. This got morbid all of a sudden. Hang on, I gotta hit my panic button.
Yeah, hold on. There it is. I heard it.
Did you hear it?
He's got it. I did hear it. That came through. That did come through.
It's amazing.
So we're going to head on. We're going to take a quick break, but after that, we're going to head on over and do a little tier list today, and we're going to rank different articles of clothing.
coming back at you right after this commercial break. Profoundish is brought to you in part by A Hasty Podcast, my own personal podcast talking about life, games, media, and sometimes featuring guests. Look for it on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Profoundish is brought to you in part by Alex Duquette Medleys. I make theme song medleys, which is where I take a bunch of theme songs and mash them up into one bite-sized song. From Nickelodeon to Adult Swim, I cover it all. So, if you want to take a fun, nostalgic trip, search my name, Alex Duquette, on YouTube, or go to alexduquette.net. We are back!
Welcome back.
Welcome to Profoundish. The ish that is a little profound as well. We don't have a slogan. It's just kind of like Profoundish.
Not yet. When we stumble upon it, then we'll know. But in the meantime, we can't force it. You can't force Profoundish into a slogan. Actually, you probably can, but shut up.
Yeah. Forget about it. I mean, hey, like we didn't even know what the name was going to be.
Yeah,
last week.
This is like the first real official episode of Profoundish, because the episode that we shot before this, the pilot, we weren't Profoundish yet. We were just some unnamed podcast of two dudes talking to each other. So this is like really the first official episode. Do we need a slogan yet? Maybe, but we will figure it out when it feels right.
Yeah, leave us alone, okay? Stop hounding us about it. Jeez.
No one's hounding
us. Like we just progressively get more and more angry at nobody yelling at us.
It's like, okay, gosh, guys, it's fine.
It's fine. You don't need a slogan. So what we have in front of us here, Weston and I can both see it. Listener, you can, of course, visualize it.
Yes.
We have an articles of clothing tier list.
Yes.
And we are going to do this. Now, I did want to bring this up. So all this is different kinds of clothing, and then an S through D ranking system. What we need to decide first and foremost is kind of the grounds and the terms at which we're going to be ranking these. Because, we got options, right? We could do in terms of functionality, or we could do our personal favorites. What do you think? How do you think we should do it?
This is going to be interesting. I'm going to, just to elaborate even further for the audience. If you're not familiar with tier lists, they're all over the internet. Basically, you got S, A, B, C, D, right? S is like amazing, D is like crud. And the items that we are ranking aren't just like they are every article of clothes. Like I see a belt, I see a tie, I see underwear, I see a shoe, I see a scarf. We are talking about all kinds of articles of clothing here. And we're going to rank them in terms of some kind of criteria, which is what Alex has just asked me about. But just to further clarify, this is all articles of clothing. This isn't like just brands of jean. This isn't just like cuts of shirt or whatever. This is just several different articles. One of the pictures I'm looking at is just a full man, just a man in a full suit. Not even the jacket, just a jacket, just a full suit. We got articles of clothing for everything, and then there's this guy in a suit.
Right.
So
we're going to include the guy for that one. So, no, I'm just kidding. So, I'm going to go and list these off really quick so you know what's going on here in terms of what we're kind of ranking here. So, we've got a belt. We just going to kind of generalize here. We got belts. We got, what's that, a bomber jacket?
That's like an aviation bomber jacket.
We got bomber jackets. We have gloves. We have, I'm going to just generalize this to hats.
And the gloves are kind of like winter gloves or whatever. They're like thick cut ones.
Right, they're winter gloves. Next is baseball caps. I'm just going to kind of call that hats, though.
Yeah, baseball caps specifically.
Right, and then we have just what I would consider just kind of the standard jacket.
Yeah, like
I think that's supposed to represent coat, though. If I were to guess,
I can't tell if
that's
there's even
supposed to be coat.
Is there a zipper on that? I actually can't tell. Is that a pullover jacket or a zipper jacket? I think it's a zipper jacket.
That's a zipper.
Yeah, it's a zip-up jacket.
That's zipper.
It's got an arm pocket, it looks like, so it's very, very cool.
Yeah, it's cool looking. I'd wear that. Next, we have jeans, the wonderful jeans. And after that, we have pajamas, the full set.
They're specifically flannel pajamas, just to clarify.
Right. If we want to paint this picture for you specifically.
Yes.
Next is, are those chinos? Is that what those are called?
Those look like chino, they're like khakis. For anyone that's listening that's not familiar, it's those sort of kind of grayish, brownish, beige pants, right? Those are kind of like chinos looking thing.
Right. After that, we have a scarf. After that, we have a button-down, long-sleeve. Let's just say a button-down shirt. This particular picture is a long-sleeve button-down shirt.
Collared.
After that, we have a tennis shoe.
It looks like, is that Converse? That looks like a Converse tennis shoe.
Looks like a Converse kind of style, yeah. After that, we have, what are those, loafers or slippers?
Yeah,
those are slippers.
Those are those loafer-style slippers. They're just like the walk-into slippers. They're kind of like the all one piece. Not like big, fuzzy whatever, but like kind of just walk-into loafer slippers, yeah.
Right. Next to that, we have socks. This particular image... these are just going to be general ideas.
These are like
the
shin-high socks, yeah.
Yeah, those are shin-high socks. Then we have just a two-piece suit with a man in them in that particular picture. Then we have a pullover hoodie. That's what that's called, right?
Yeah, that's a pullover hoodie, yep, with the hood.
Then we have, I don't know, okay, do you think in this particular context, that is this supposed to represent white T-shirts or just T-shirts?
I believe that is specifically a white undershirt. That looks like a white undershirt to me.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Like you'd wear this underneath like your work clothes or whatever, which is what I do all the time at work. I have a bunch of white undershirts that I wear underneath all my uniforms.
So then the last two we have the classic tie that you'd usually have accompanied with a suit.
Very classy.
And then the last one is boxer briefs. I'm going to generalize those just to underwear. I know there's some differences there, but... this particular image is boxer briefs, is what it looks like.
Which, I mean, that's a whole separate thing. If we had to break it down by underwear, like boxers, briefs, boxer briefs, the classic whitey-tighty.
Whitey-whiteys. Yep. So, okay, so that's kind of our list here. So, Weston, what do you think? Are we doing this based on just what we like the most? Like or are we going more functional, just overall? Do you have any takes on it?
Gosh, like one, I think it's gotta be versatility is what jumps to my mind. It's gotta be versatility. Like how often do you wear these clothes, in what circumstances, and in those circumstances, how useful are they, right? Okay, I think versatility is a big one, right? The more you can wear that article of clothing, the better. If it's an article of clothing that like it would never fit a situation, then like it's not a high ranking to me, right? Granted, we have different articles of clothing, so it's going to be kind of tricky, but I think versatility is definitely one of them.
I think you mentioned versatility, and then, of course, some of these are kind of seasonal. I don't think we should hold seasonal against them. So, for example, if we're going based on versatility and we see a jacket, that's going to be pretty versatile in the wintertime, right? It may not be... Unless you were thinking in a different way. Is that kind of what you meant?
I think yes. I think frequency, like how often you'd wear it, I think should play a factor. It's not like the defining factor, but I think frequency definitely plays a factor for me. Because like
that's fair.
Just to like spoil ahead my thoughts about like the tie. When we get to the tie, like if it's about frequency of use, I'm not wearing it very often. So it's not gonna be like a high ranking for me, unless you convince me otherwise. Because if we're talking about like height of fashion, like what's the fanciest stuff? Well, that's different. I think that's like a different kind of tier list, because we're not like, is wearing a ball cap fancy? Well, no. But does that mean it's D? Exactly. No, I don't think. But
well, okay, so then we just kind of want to base it off of that then?
Like versatility,
kind of versatility and
frequency,
and functionality sort of thing?
How much we like that art. Just as nebulous as this sounds, how much do we like that article of clothing?
I think that can play a role. And then I kind of said it already, but also how good is it at doing its job in terms of like functionality, right? Like, is it... I mean, I guess they all do their job.
They all do their job, but I think I get what you're saying. It's like, okay, they all have a job to play, but how much what do they do at doing that job?
Right, exactly. So this sounds like kind of just like a mix match of kind of different criteria, but I think we're on a similar page. So I think we should get started. Do you have I'll let you pick.
I think we should just start...
Do you have a choice on the first one?
I think we should just start top left and work our way through the list that we've got in front of us, just for simplicity's sake. So we've got the classic, in the picture, this brown dress belt with a buckle. One of the built-in buckles or whatever that you just like put the little piece of metal through the hole. Belt. a belt.
No, are you a belt guy?
I wear a lot of the when you buy, there's a lot of like shorts and pants or whatever that when you buy them, they come with a belt, right? You know, those kinds of belts, those like kind of fabric-y belts with just the two sort of rings on the end that you just kind of slide your fabric between and it tightens that way. I wear a lot of those. The type of belt that we have pictured here is basically exclusively for dressing up. I have one belt that's reversible. It's black on one side and brown on the other, and I can reverse it depending on what my outfit is. And the buckle, actually, you pull it up and it twists so that you can buckle it either way. It's a reversible belt. It's super fancy.
Those are nice.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's interesting. I will say this. We might have a differing opinion here, maybe a little bit. I do not see that specifically for dressing up. In fact, I use my same belt that you're just mentioning almost every day with my jeans. So that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Now,
we have different tastes in belt. I'm very laid back with my belt situation.
Which is funny because the way I wear my shirts, I don't really usually tuck my shirts in, so no one sees it anyway. So for me, it's still serving its purpose. And I will say, I would argue that they would equally serve their purpose. I know they're different stylistically, but they both serve the purpose well. The only difference, I would say, is that the belt you're talking about, the one that you usually use, not the twisty one, but probably will last longer because it's not leather.
Right.
And a lot of these fake leather belts will fall apart. They'll start to crumble, and you know what I mean? They'll start to kind of wear down a little bit. So that's something to consider.
And I think because you say that, that brings it lower on the tier list a little bit. I'm aiming at, like, if we had to put the fancy schmancy belts, I think they're kind of vital. I think, like, basically every outfit is improved by wearing a belt of some kind. And depending on your body shape is a necessity to, again, keep the pants up. Depending on which pair of jeans I'm wearing, I can get away not wearing a belt on my tighter jeans. But every time I discover that I've left the house without wearing a belt, somehow I've done that. Every time I do that, I feel like vastly more uncomfortable with the fact that I'm not wearing a belt. So I think it's not D territory by any stretch.
No.
But because it's like, I think because it's the dress belt that we're looking at a picture of, I have a hard time reaching A territory. I'm like in B and C, but I think C is me being unfair. I think that my necessity for a belt has to bring it up to B.
Okay, well, that actually works out. There's no further discussion that's needed because I was kind of sitting on B since before you even went through that.
B for belt.
So, yeah, B. Look at that. B for belt.
B for
and then
belt.
We got a coat. Do we got C for coat? I'm just kidding. So next is okay. So really quick, this is the bomber jacket. Are we going to consider this specifically a bomber jacket?
I think we have to because we already have a zip-up jacket later, right?
Yeah, we don't really have a coat.
Yeah, we don't really have any coats. So we have two different styles of jacket. And the jacket that we're looking at right now, full disclosure, I'm not a fan of. I do not care for these types of jacket whatsoever. Like, this is like without even get further discussion, my immediate thought is, oh yeah, that's a D jacket right there.
Holy hell. Okay, so I never wore this kind of jacket until about a year and a half ago, and there was this kind of jacket was gifted to me, and it was a very cheap jacket.
Yeah.
And I only know that because I ended up getting, no, actually, I don't think I ever got one. But I wanted to get another one, and I learned that there was like $20 like at Costco or something. But it was the most comfortable jacket I've ever worn, just in terms of a light jacket. So I'm not calling this an S, but I'm not calling it a D.
I will say that I've never worn one, so the comfort factor is not playing a factor in my brain. So if it is that comfortable, I'm willing to move away from D because I understand that a lot of just my personal preference is coming into that factor.
No, that's okay. So let's talk, and that's fair, and it can. I think that should play a part. So let's talk functionality. From my experience using the bomber jacket, it's a very light jacket. It is not meant to really keep you super warm. It's kind of like you wear it during like fall months. That's really when it's, I think, used best.
Which I think it's funny. It's like a windbreaker, but it always looks like it should be thicker.
I know it does. And some I think are, but this one in particular looks kind of thin. So the thing is, though, is that even I can say this. It's very comfortable, but it doesn't do the best job at keeping you cool because, you know, especially during the fall months, it could be decent during the day, but then when it gets nighttime, it gets a lot colder. Maybe that jacket's not going to do you well. If you get a slightly thicker jacket, I feel like it could kind of last you more throughout the day, night or day. You're not going to get hot and sweaty in the day, right? And you know, it'll function well at night. I'm thinking, because overall, I'm saying maybe I'm between C and B. Do you have any thoughts on C or B?
I'm thinking personally, because I was leaning towards D earlier, I'm willing to come up to C. And if you're between B and C, maybe we just slap this firmly in the C territory.
Okay. C for bomber jacket.
C for bomber jacket. C for not quite C for coat, but not my favorite.
Right.
Not my favorite coat. I just putting it out there.
Hey, wait till you wear one. Hey, I'll next time I see you, I'll bring this bomber jacket. I'll let you try.
Yeah, change my mind.
You'll wear a cloud. You'll be wearing a cloud.
Flip
It's
my
amazing.
world upside down.
You got it. All right, what do we got next?
We got these winter gloves now. I have a pair pretty much just like this in black. It might be a little bit of a different make, but it's kind of like cinched at the wrist. Thick winter gloves with the fingers. It's not like mitts. If we had mitts on this list, I would list mitts very low, but these are very good gloves, especially in the winter. Pretty much a necessity in the frigid temperatures that we get around here. I like gloves. I'm looking at it kind of like a B territory myself. What are you thinking?
You're feeling a B. I will say this. I respect gloves for their functionality.
Yeah.
I hate wearing gloves. Always have. Now, I grew up in Illinois, the very cold Illinois winter months and spring months, because I know how it goes up there. And I don't know if it's because every time I have my gloves on, I have to use my phone for something.
That's true.
But it just completely renders your phone usage. It's useless.
You cannot be using your phone. No way.
So, and I know that's kind of a side tangent there, but that always frustrates me, and I'm sorry, but that feeling is kind of getting into this. What did you say? Did you say B and C, or what?
I was just looking firmly in the B area.
Okay. I will say, I know what it's like to have cold hands and like at 0 degrees. And gloves, even though they don't keep your hands necessarily, because here's the thing about gloves that I should mention. You know how like sometimes they keep you insulated, but then you get like that weird, cold, sweaty feeling?
It just depends what you need them for. I do, like when your gloves start to get damp, but I will say when you're digging your car out of snow because there has been a blizzard and you're like trapped in snow and you're like digging your way out with your own hands, it is a godsend. I'll tell you that.
Oh my God. Oh, I do know that. I'm in a weird place, but my opinion isn't ridiculously strong, so I'm willing to go to B if you want.
B for the gloves? If that's okay with you, that's where I'm sitting.
I mean, they definitely, you painted that picture. I've had to clean my car off with my bare hands and with gloves on, and there is a significant difference.
I get the inconvenience when you have to pull the phone out, but like when you're talking about like the actual frigid stuff, this stuff comes in. Like these gloves are so vital that like it just props it up for me. If it weren't for the fact that we all use smartphones and that they're so bulky, maybe I would put them at A territory. I'm a bigger fan of gloves than you probably are, to be honest. I've always thought like gloves are kind of cool. I don't know why I've always thought that since I was a kid, but
interesting. Yeah, I think you're just naturally predisposed to like gloves more.
I like gloves.
All right, next.
The ball
what
cap.
Do we have?
We got the baseball hat, the ball cap.
The ball cap.
I've played baseball. I've worn baseball caps. At my work, I've worn plenty of hats. Not a big hat guy.
Plenty of hats.
In person, in reality. I don't know. I like to get away from the hat personally.
Yeah, I will say that I will never be caught dead in a hat. The only time I did wear a hat was when I played baseball when I was a young lad. And I hated it then. I don't look good in them. So that plays a small factor.
You usually do stuff with your hair. That's like a huge part of it too. Like usually you can't wear a hat and do stuff with your hair.
No, because then you got hat hair.
Right.
The last thing you want to do is you don't want to be going to that job interview with Mr. Johnson, and then you show up to that interview, take off your hat, and it's just flat.
You cannot wear a hat to an interview if you want any kind of self-respect. I don't have a ton of hair on top of my head. Like I've got this real far back kind of hairline or whatever. So like a lot of people try to hide their hair with their hat, but I don't want to, like, even with less hair than a lot of people, hat hair sucks. Like if I take the hat off, I look 10 times worse than I do if I just never wore it to begin with.
See, and that's something that I want to mention too. The other things we've mentioned so far, gloves, belts, and jackets. Anybody can look good with gloves, a belt, and a jacket. Not everybody can look good with a hat.
And sometimes, depending on the rest of your attire, a hat can make you look more lazy in a way. Like you just didn't try to put yourself together. Like, oh yeah, I didn't want to do my hair. I'm going to slap a hat on.
Right, exactly. Now, listen, I don't know about you. I do not want to go past a C. C is the highest I'll go for a hat.
I'm almost, this is maybe the poet in me. I want to say C for cap.
If it's only the poet in you, turn that part off.
Then
if it's only the poet.
Then I'm thinking ball cap. I mean, unless it's sunny out, you got to keep the sun out of your eyes or something. I'm just I don't wear them ever outside of like work and outfit. D. I see you already putting it in D. I see you already dragging it over. Ball cap goes to a firm D.
I was like slowly dragging it over.
We're gonna make some enemies with that one. Some people love their caps.
I was about to say, if you are, please, please let us know how much you love hats.
Yes, I would love to hear all about it. We'd love to know
why you're wrong.
I would love to hear all about your love.
Next up, we have just kind of the standard zip-up jacket.
Zip-up kind of zip-up jacket, kind of zip-up windbreaker jacket, that kind of thing. We already went over bomber jackets. My feeling for these jackets are higher than that, so I'm looking at probably like B territory. I don't know if I want to go all the way to A territory or not.
Yeah, the thing is that jackets, there's so many different kinds. There's so many like stylistic choices you can make with these kinds of jackets, and they are very functional. I love jackets. I do.
Yeah.
Versatility. I mean, technically, if you're, I'd say they're pretty versatile. They last you a good portion of the year.
I had to wear one today because it was raining.
That's what I mean. So I think because of the versatility alone, I'm sitting B to A, maybe.
That's what I was thinking, B to A.
Yeah, you did say that. I think I'm leaning a little bit more towards A.
You think as much as an A? You know what? It could be our first A tier thing.
A for jacket.
Zip up jacket. Break the wind.
A for zip up.
And it's good any time of year where it's not too cold, so you don't need the full-on coat, and it can rain anytime. Yeah, put it in A.
I would say put it in A. I'm glad we're on that same page. I think we're good. Now, this for me is going to be undisputed letter, but I want to see if you share the same sentiment. We have jeans.
If it's undisputed to you, I feel like you want to make this your first S tier category, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
I do. I didn't want to make it our first S tier category, but it's okay because while I'm not wearing jeans in the summer season, I'm a big proponent of jeans, wear them all the time. I like the color of the picture, the one that we have in front of us. I'm a big jeans guy. I wear jeans to be comfortable.
Jeans guy too.
Yeah, we just talked about your jean journey. It's important to you. It's important to me. You know what? Let's make it our first S tier category, jeans. We've already talked about them enough today.
Yes. By the way, should that be our episode title? Little behind the curtain. Should we call it the Jean Journey?
The Jean Journey, Journey of the Jeans. Sure, we'll hash that out in the SEO or whatever.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, I'm happy to have that as our first S tier. For those of you who are unfamiliar, too, S is better than A.
Yep. It's this
I guess
very.
You may not, what does S mean?
The first time I ever encountered S being above A was when I was playing like JRPGs or very Japanese video games, right? Like Dragon Ball Z. They had like a Z instead of an S for ranking stuff. So like that was the first time I ever encountered stuff above A. So that must be a very Eastern thing, at least in video games. That was my first exposure to it.
Right. I can't remember where I first exposed to it, but does S just mean like? Is there a name for that? Is it special?
I don't know if it's just like super. S for super.
Super?
I truly do not know. I've never looked into that.
So next up we have pajamas, and this is particularly a whole pajama set, not just pajama pants, but the pajama pants as well as the pajama shirt, which this one in particular is a plaid button-down.
This is now. I'm going to say it. We wear them every night. and a comfortable pair of pajamas is vital. That was my first S. That's what I'm saying.
That was your first S?
That's what I was looking at.
I mean, I guess I'm going to have to meet you there. I am not a pajamas guy, never have been.
I'm in my pajamas right now.
But I will say this. I will meet you there, but I do want to give an explanation here. I do appreciate them for what they do because they are very versatile. Because really, if you want to, hey, you go to Walmart. You mentioned Walmart. Guess what? Someone's wearing pajamas at Walmart.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Somewhere.
My pajamas do not leave the house. But
if you're using the versatility approach, right? I mean, you can wear it out. You can wear it at home.
Yeah.
It's comfortable. You can sleep in it. You can lounge around the house in it.
Absolutely.
They're kind of warm in the wintertime.
And let's face it, they're the clothes we all want to be wearing at all times. That's why you come home, you strip your clothes off, you're like, get that crap out of here, pajamas.
No, I will say, though, I do want them to stay behind jeans.
I'll give you that.
Okay.
I'm okay with saying that in the S tier, pajamas are below jeans. But both are S tier. I'm okay with that.
For sure. Okay, next we're considering these Chinos.
Yeah, the Chinos. And for people at home that aren't familiar with Chinos, I'm kind of lumping khaki pants into it just because it's kind of the same idea.
Kind of the same, but also kind of not because they are cut different.
They are. I think for me, the reason I'm lumping them in is because I'm going to kind of rate them about the same.
Okay, well, which is what? I don't have a strong opinion, so...
I'm looking at these. They're below jeans, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're very solid pants for a different kind of style, a very different kind of fashion or outfit or whatever. I'm looking at, they're very functional. They're very good. I'm a big fan of pants anyway. I'm looking at, I don't know how passionate you are about it, so if it's not an A, maybe a B.
Yeah, I've never owned a pair of Chinos in particular, and I actually am not a huge fan of khakis. I don't like how they look on me. They are still pants. I'm kind of more strongly thinking B, if that's okay.
I'm okay with that. I used to wear a lot of khaki pants, not Chinos, but khaki pants for my work uniform before our requirements changed. And I didn't have to wear them anymore, basically. But because I like jeans more, and I could wear my jeans. But yeah, I'm okay with B. If it's not an A, I'm okay with B on that one.
Because you're not going to be, I don't think you wore those very much outside of work, right?
See, that's my point. It's I don't wear them outside of work. I don't really, I still got mine. I still have them. I don't really ever wear them. Honestly, it's probably time to retire them. I'm not as passionate about them as I am the jeans. But I think as far as pants go, I mean, yeah, if you don't have your jeans for whatever reason, or you've got an outfit in mind. But other than that, call it a B.
But B is respectable, too, though. It's definitely respectable.
Yeah, it's not a failure by any stretch. Not like ball caps.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, those freaking ball caps, man.
Next up.
Okay, next up, what do we have?
We got the scarf. We're looking at a sort of winter scarf with the little frills on the end. I do like a scarf. I think scarves are fashionable when I see other people wear them.
You're a scarf guy.
I have one scarf that our mutual friend Angela got me for Christmas. Actually, years ago.
And since then, I've considered you a scarf guy just because of that.
It's the one scarf.
You had the picture for the longest time of you in that red scarf.
That was my profile picture for a long time. I do technically somewhere. It's probably in a box at my parents' house now because I don't think I have it here. I do have another scarf that's very similar to the one that we have pictured. I rarely wore it, but once I had this other scarf, and I also just like the color red, and this was a Christmas gift, and I just thought that was very special, so I wore it quite a bit in winter seasons, not so much over pandemic because I wasn't going anywhere. But I do like a scarf. I think other people can really pull it off, but it's kind of like an extra thing. It's certainly not necessary.
Yes, it's an accessory. It's almost an accessory. It's not. I mean, it's functional, but it's borderline accessory to me because you can get most coats and jackets. Either have hoods or the necks go up far enough to where your neck's kind of already covered for the most part.
A scarf does a good job of keeping the neck warm, but like you said, you're usually wearing other stuff that helps with that. If there was some way to wear a scarf to keep your ears warm, I mean, that would be even better. But it's really just kind of an accessory.
So I'm glad you agree. Now, that being said, we should mention, and you already said this earlier, actually, but I do want to bring this back around. It is fashionable for a lot of people. And in fact, maybe because it's an accessory, but more fashionable than most of the other things on our list so far. So I think we should, here, let me just throw this out there. It is more of an accessory, not necessary. I'm sitting around, I don't want it to be next to the baseball cap. I'm sitting around C?
That's exactly where I would put it, because unlike the baseball cap that can actually ruin your hair, a scarf doesn't hurt anything about you.
No, exactly. It's not hindering any part. You're right. All right. We've got the Alex Duquette favorite, the button-down shirt.
The button-down long sleeve, they have like the collared wrists or whatever on this one, but like the classic button, this is definitely one of your mainstay looks for sure.
Yep.
You would probably rate it a bit higher than I would, but this is something that I would more like wear like on a Sunday if I'm going to like lunch or something with family or something. This is not my everyday look. This is actually like what I would call like slightly fancy.
Interesting. Okay, yeah.
It's
so
not
for me,
fancy, but it's like what my idea of like if I have to dress slightly higher than every day, this would be it.
I know what you mean. Yeah. So for me, it isn't every day. If you can convince me, I'm all ears. But right now, I'm sitting pretty at S.
At S?
Okay. I mean, it's the go-to. It's been the go-to for so long for so many men and women. Women wear button-down shirts too. So, I don't know. I'm pretty sold on that. I mean, it's the perfect combo with jeans, for God's sake.
Oh, man.
So,
I knew you were passionate about this,
but
I did not know you were reaching for the stars with S. You know?
Yeah, oh yeah. S is for star. What were you thinking? Don't tell me you were thinking like B.
I was kind of more like A and B, but like on B, it'd be like higher than gloves, obviously. Probably higher than belt. It'd be like the top part of B. You know what I mean? But probably like, again, knowing its versatility. And I wear like similar shirts. I don't wear the full button down thing normally. So I'm like, but I'm kind of in the similar realm. I'm like, I could put an A somewhere. You're going for S. I'll tell you what. Compromise, we'll put it in S, but below pajamas.
Okay. I'll do it.
Just a nitpick.
I had that hurts a little bit, but you know what? That's okay. That's okay. We both have. Look that's my favorite. The pajamas are your favorite. I'm willing to meet you there. I think that's good.
Perfect. Well, that way everyone's a little happy.
Everyone's a little happy, but listen, I think we can all agree. Jeans. I mean, jeans are still rocking.
Oh yeah, jeans are still great.
About that. So, all right, we got a handful left. The next one up, we have our tennis shoes. This in particular kind of shoe. It looks like a Converse kind of style shoe. Yep. Almost kind of like Vans style, if I recall correctly, too. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm totally off.
I will say that this is not my style of shoe. So like maybe I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm not picturing the difference between Converse and Vans. All I will say is that when I see that, I'm like, oh, that's a Converse shoe. I don't like them.
It looks like a Converse shoe. You don't like them? Yeah, I'm not a fan. And once again, for this list, we're looking at this particular kind of shoe, right? Not just tennis shoes in general. I want to make sure.
Right. I think for this list, because we're looking at a Converse shoe, and shoes are so wide and varied. If we're talking about shoes in general, I don't know where I put it, because I'm very particular about my shoes. That's its own tier list. I'm very particular about my shoes. I wear basically the same goddamn brand, same goddamn model over and over again. So with this list, I'm looking at a Converse shoe here. I don't like them, and they are not comfortable. They hurt your feet. They are not built with support. I am putting that solidly, if it were up to me, in the D category below the ball cap.
I'm with you. I was already spinning it next to that D before you said it. I don't. I don't know. Since it's that particular shoe, I would never wear that. I also don't like how they look. So. Yep.
Not the look for me. I get that people love them. They have to be more of a fashion statement than comfort, because they are not comfortable. But it's not for me. It doesn't work with my outfits, with what I wear. If you, listener, disagree with that, I am going to wager a guess that you are younger than me.
You're probably right. So next we have loafers/slippers.
Yep.
Here's the thing. I have come around. Mine look a little bit different than these. I used to think they look very old person-y, and maybe it's because I'm getting older. But oh my God, I got a pair like these. Similar, not the same, but kind of similar. But they got like some padding on the bottom of them, so you can go outside on your patio.
Yeah.
And oh my God, Weston, I love them. I love them so much.
The pair of slippers I own are moccasin-style slippers, as opposed to these sort of walk-in slippers. And I like them because they have that heel, so like they don't just slide off your feet. I'm someone who very much way I walk, I will just walk out of shoes if they have like no back like that. Some like flip-flops and stuff are very tricky for me. So luckily flip-flops are not on this list, but I would rate these slippers kind of on the lower scale because this is not my kind of slipper. And even my slippers, like slippers in general, I rate kind of low because they're not necessary. I'm more of a barefoot guy at home anyway. But I get what you're saying. Like you could wear them outside if you got to throw them on real quick to step outside. I get it.
Yeah, to go to the mailbox or something or whatever.
But also like...
So, well, what were you thinking? And I'll see where... Well, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I feel like it's kind of an unnecessary article of clothing. It's not a hindrance, so I'm not like in that D territory, but honestly, I'm still in the C territory for me. You know,
it's funny. I said many nice words about it, but once again, it is... it's honestly, yeah, I'll agree with you there. Because... yeah, it's good for outside, but that's the only time I'm really wearing it. It's not super versatile. Like you're not going to wear those to go to the Walmart.
I'd put it above the scarf maybe, but like I don't know, somewhere in there in the C territory. Yeah,
because it's definitely not an accessory still. Like I mean, they have a function. Like and
they're kind of an accessory because they're not necessary, but they do have a function. Like you said, if you're stepping outside or whatever. So yeah, somewhere in there.
So here we have.
We're down to the final 6, everybody.
Final 6. We're getting down to it. We got tube socks.
Tube socks, baby. I do like me some tube socks, but the tube ones in particular that kind of go up your shin a little bit, kind of limited use, kind of very winter use. Summertime, they're usually too hot. But socks in general, I would rate like on the higher end, not like A or S, I don't think, but like, because socks are having the right comfortable sock that fits your shoe, fits your foot, I think is very important. The tube sock itself, I'm looking at, again, it's kind of for me above the scarf, but in that C territory. For the tube sock.
Oh boy.
Are you in disagreement?
Well, I guess this is tube socks we're talking, so it is a little more limited use. The thing is, though, is that think about how well they work during their intended time to be used, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, we mentioned earlier with this bomber jacket, which is in the C category, C tier, how it's like, it's a light jacket in it, but it's almost too light to where once it gets dark out and it's cooler outside, it's not going to work. I think in terms of function, in the wintertime, these socks do really well. I would argue to put them at the tail end of the B category.
You know what?
Or the B tier.
I'm looking at our B category, and it's got gloves in it, and gloves are socks of the hands.
Right.
So you know what? I'm willing to meet you there. Put it in the B territory for tube socks.
B for tube.
The B tube.
All right. B tube. Well, that's
a lot of letters better than YouTube.
That's true. All right, so next up we have
the full suit.
A gentleman in a two-piece suit.
He's got
this looks like a navy blue suit.
Yeah, he's got like a blue suit. He's even got the brown dress shoes to go with it. If you want to count that white dress undershirt, looking fashionable and fly as F. I mean, guys in suits. The one weird thing that he's missing out of his suit is a tie. He's not wearing the tie in his casual suit that he's wearing, but I see you dragging the tie over to like Pete. Yeah, I see what you're doing. But I think full piece suit, I mean, that is the classic men's, I think that's the epitome of timeless male fashion.
Oh, hold on. Oh, sorry. Give me 1 second. Hold on. 1 second. I'm so sorry. Hold on. There's a recording playing of me in the background, and it freaked me out. There was a old...
yeah, you have 2P's podcast playing in the background. I can hear it. I don't know if it'll show up on the podcast.
Did you hear that?
I could. All of a sudden, you were talking about Patrick Warburton, and I'm like, what?
I'm so sorry. That was an old episode, a little snippet I forgot to delete.
Actually,
so sorry.
That's amazing.
Because I thought, why am I talking?
Yeah, I know. You started, I said Suits, and they're like, yeah, just like the Patrick Warburton. And I'm like, what? Where are we going with this?
Oh, my gosh. So... Suits. What were we just talking about? Oh, I just want to say they're definitely timeless. That's the last thing I said. It's the last thing I remember.
I think, like, my heart wants to say, because, like, my heart wants to say ass. Because, like, it is, like, the top of, like, male fashion, right? Put on a suit. Everyone looks good in a suit. My brain wants to say, but how often do you wear it? And it wants to drop it down to A.
Hey, listen. You know, it's funny. I'm not going to argue with you. In fact, I was kind of sitting around A too. We talk about versatility. You're not going to, in general, be wearing a suit if you're going into Dollar General to pick up some milk.
No. Although if you are, you're going to be fly.
You're going to look fly. It definitely makes a statement. Big statements are made when you wear a suit. I will say, I'm going to put you at A, but I would argue to put it
top of the A,
in the front of the jacket.
Yeah, definitely top of the A. You at home could argue maybe like it could still go in S, and I would totally be there with you. My heart wants to say S, but my brain's like, yeah, but when do you wear it though? Like not often.
When are you really wearing it?
So like it's not something that has to be super comfortable. I mean, it should be, right? But like it's something that you tailor, that you're showing off to impress other people. It's not something that's, I don't know. I'm very conflicted about that in the brain.
Well, you know, maybe one thing that could maybe help a little bit is that there's a lot of intricacies of wearing suits that are unnecessary, you know, like really that serve no function. Like, you know, you've got the little thing that goes in your pocket. I can't think what that's called. You know, a lot of people do like...
Yeah, the little pocket fabric, whatever it is. You got cufflinks. You know what I'm talking about. You got
cufflinks. Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
There's a lot of like,
is that really necessary?
But like what he's got going on, like that casual suit that he's got going on in the picture that we're looking at, I'll put it top of the A. Yeah. Not bad by any stretch. Yeah. If, again, viewer at home, if you want to say S, I would be right there with you. I get it. I understand it. I'm just, the only thing bringing it down is just frequency of use to me. That's pretty much it. I do like a suit. I actually like wearing a suit when I wear a suit. I feel like powerful.
Yeah, you feel like, man, I am in a suit. I am in a suit right now, and I can get some crap
I've got
done.
A wedding coming up. I'm going to be in a suit soon, and I'm going to be like, yeah, man.
Yeah, there's something about it. It's powerful. Okay, so we got 4 left. We're down to the top 4.
Final 4.
This next one I have a strong passion for. I don't think you do. Maybe you do.
I don't have a strong passion for the pullover hoodie. This is the pullover hoodie. Pullover hoodie, everybody. I do like a hoodie. I'm more of a zip-up hoodie guy.
You're a zip-up hoodie guy. I used to be, but I have since, I'm going to say it, I have since graduated to the pullover hoodies. I think they are, I don't know, I think the biggest reason why I like the pullover hoodies is that those are my only time that I really wear a quote-unquote t-shirt in terms of like the design. Graphic designs. I usually only stick to graphic designs on my pullover hoodies for some reason. Don't know why. It's just a habit I picked up.
Which is funny because your hoodie is going to cover it.
No, no. The hoodie itself has the graphic design on it. Sorry, I might have missed.
I thought you said like graphic tee. I'm like, if you're wearing your graphic tee with your pullover hoodie, that's gonna just cover your tee. Okay, you're wearing like graphic hoodies. Got it.
Right. I might have explained that wrong. Yeah, graphic hoodies. So, but also I love them because depending on the weather, you don't need the jacket. That hoodie is kind of like your in-betweener, right? You go inside, you're warm enough. You go outside, it's still gonna be okay. So I love that for its versatility. That major points for that.
Yeah, and I was someone who wore a lot more. No, I get it. Like I'm just thinking because, like I said, I was more of a zip-up hoodie guy. But I'm kind of the opposite of you. I used to wear more pullover, and I've moved on to zip-ups because they're easier to take on and off, and just like they're more versatile to me in my use. Where once I have a pullover hoodie on, like I don't want it to go anywhere. Like I don't want to take it off. So like for me, it's kind of only a winter thing, but it is something that I do wear also lounging around the house. Like if it's kind of cool out and I'll put it on over my pajamas or whatever. So by no stretch am I opposed to the pullover hoodie. I just don't wear them super often. So I was going to put it somewhere in the upper B echelon, but I think it sounds like you're quite passionate. Okay. Are you looking at the A territory?
You know, I'm passionate about it, but I'm okay to meet you maybe at B because I'm looking at the jacket and the suit, especially the jacket, and I'm going, that jacket just...
Actually, that's a good point. Like, would it be higher or lower than jacket? You know what I mean?
See...
Maybe it should be over there next to jacket.
Maybe it should be. I would say right before jacket, though, not in front of it.
Okay, let's go put it right underneath jacket, but still in A territory. I'm okay with that. Now that, like, if we put it in B, it's in, like, belts and gloves and socks. So maybe it's higher than that. Put it in A.
Yeah. So, all right, very good. We're down to the final
three here.
Dun, dun,
the classic white undershirt T-shirt.
The white undershirt T-shirt.
A complete necessity for some outfits. I think a lot of people could benefit from having undershirt in their like ensemble.
Are you saying people stink?
I'm saying like it's an extra buffer between you and the clothes that you're actually using to like distinguish yourself. It's a good buffer. I think it's useful. I think it's not necessary technically. I think it's not really meant for anyone to see, so it takes the fashion aspect out of it. I think it ranks low, but not because I don't like them, but because they're not like fashion. They're not technically necessary, but they're not an accessory piece.
They're not an accessory piece, and I will say this too. They, in terms of, once again, we're going to go to kind of functionality side. If you're in a pinch and you have an undershirt on and you got that shirt over the top of it and you spill something on that shirt, you have another shirt to take off and you're still wearing one underneath.
Absolutely.
And I think that is worth mentioning. Because sometimes if you're wearing a button-down shirt and you spill something on it, you're shirtless for the day, buddy. So
and some of us can't pull that off. Saying.
Some of us can't pull... Exactly. And listen, these two guys can't. So...
I don't know what you're talking about.
You'd be
ripped.
blinded if we did. I don't care if you're ripped. I know you're blinding. You're a redhead like me.
I'm very white. I'm thinking if we need to put this in a category, this one's kind of tough because I feel like, where does it go? What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
Well, honestly, I know you didn't have too much good to say about it. I'm thinking maybe I would say I don't think I could put an undershirt underneath, like anywhere farther away from like the belt, which is in B, right?
Okay.
So I'm thinking maybe the top of C or the tail end of B.
Because that's what I was thinking. Like it's kind of like a sock. Sock is like the undergarment of the shoe, right? Kinda.
You know what's funny? I love these comparisons. Sock is the undergarment of the shoe. Gloves are the socks of the hands.
Gloves are the socks of the hands, but socks are the undergarment of the shoe, which kind of makes it sound like gloves should be an undergarment, but they're not. They're an overgarment, and just like gloves are overgarments, an undershirt is an undergarment, and I think it should be over there next to socks. Let's put it in B territory around the sock territory. I
Boom. Oh, we're almost there,
I would
kiddos.
probably put it above socks, but like above, below, somewhere around socks, I'm okay with.
I'll put it above socks. I'm not against that. Here we go.
Next up, we got two left, everybody. We have the tie. You know what?
The tie.
I don't know if you're a tie guy. I've got a lot of ties. I like a tie with a suit, but let's be honest. I'm looking at the tie. I'm looking at the fact that we have scarf on this list. And what's the difference between a tie and a scarf? What's the difference between a tie and a scarf? I'll tell you the difference. A scarf keeps your neck warm and a tie doesn't.
Hey, buddy, listen. The tie makes a statement that the scarf could never.
Scarves make a statement. In fact, you can wear a scarf with a suit. With a sports jacket. It's beautiful in the winter.
Yeah. Are you arguing just for the sake of arguing at this point? Listen, listen, Linda. it may be able to make a statement, but not the same statement that a tie can make. You're not going to be wearing a 2 or 3-piece suit and throwing a scarf on to replace the tie. Once again, it is an accessory. You can argue much more. The tie maybe doesn't serve a functional thing, right? It may not be super functional unless you're talking about the actual style of the suit that you're wearing, right? Because it actually does complete the ensemble in a lot of ways. You can wear a tie. I don't know. I just feel like because of the statement that it makes alone, because you can literally wear I've done this before in a pinch. I've worn this like a nicer polo shirt, and then I've thrown a tie believe it or not, underneath that collar and tied it up, and I had to call it a day for something. I can't remember what it was for. And not a polo shirt, sorry, just like a button-down shirt.
Sure.
But like a normal button-down shirt. And guess what? It transformed the shirt. Now, if you go up close, sure, you're going to go, okay, you're just wearing like a normal button-down shirt. But it is transforming. I will say, I'm not passionate on what necessarily it's going in, but I do think it should go above scarf.
Listen, hear me out. Already, we have a guy in a suit without a tie at A, and he's not even rocking a tie. That's one. That's number one. He's not even wearing the tie. Number two, how many movies has a man been murdered by being choked to death by a tie? I'm just saying.
Who cares? It's movies.
I'm just saying. Ties are deadly and dangerous. They could hurt you.
Okay.
They could hurt you more than hats or Converse will ever.
Okay, well, using that logic, I mean, you could say that with the shoes.
It's going to the F territory.
Who throws a shoe?
F.
I'm
just kidding. We don't have an F territory anyway. I know you're rating it higher. Where I am at the end of the day is in the C territory around scarf, maybe above scarf. I'm okay with that. But you sound like you're leaning higher, because I do understand, like, it's got to be, in my mind, between scarf and belt. Like, it's not going above belt.
No, I don't think it should go above belt, because it's this. We're talking about a standalone tie here.
Yeah.
So I definitely want it above scarf, but I do think in terms of functionality, right next to the scarf is our slippers.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with this. I am okay with this, because the more I think about it and see the placement of other things, it makes kind of a little bit of sense to put it here.
I think it's a good accessory.
So,
but on its own, if you just were shirtless with a tie, I mean, it's a very different kind of statement.
It is. You're right. But still a statement nonetheless. Final one. Really quick. Let's go through these rankings really quickly here, and then we're going to get to the final one. So at S tier currently, we have standing in order on each letter from the most to the least is jeans, pajamas, and then button-down shirt.
And then in
Next,
A, we got the
A tier
suit, we've got the zip-up jacket, and we got the pullover hoodie.
And then in B, we've got B for belt, the first one we did. So right in the middle. B for belt, we have the gloves, chinos, undershirt, white tees, and tube socks.
And at C, we've got the bomber jacket, the walk-in slip-on slippers, the tie, the scarf.
And finally, in our D tier, we've got the cap, the baseball cap, and our Converse kind of tennis shoes style.
And finally, we still have to place underwear. These specifically are boxer briefs. If it were just underwear, period, I mean, it would be really high up. It would be like S territory. You have to have
100%.
comfortable underwear. No one's going to see it unless it's
100%.
like sexy time. But like no one's going to see it normally.
Right.
But it makes a world of difference to be comfortable in your underwear. But these are boxer briefs.
Yep.
And I don't know if we to spoil it for our viewers what we wear. Boxer briefs are not my preferred underwear. I'm more of a
I don't know.
I'm more of a boxer guy, believe it or not.
You are! I knew I liked you. I'm a boxer guy too. That's the thing, yeah. If we were going generic, then yeah, underwear in general, number one, I would say, or at least close to number one. Now, boxer briefs, I've dabbled, never stuck around too long. I'm a boxers guy. I will say that the times that I've kind of had to wear boxer briefs, I definitely wasn't disappointed in my experience. In fact, some would argue that, there's more security in those.
Sure.
As a man. Now, I like the freedom of boxers, personally. But I do understand that boxer briefs are a very popular choice.
Mm-hmm.
I will say they're still very versatile, very functional. You're obviously wearing them all year round. Who knows? Maybe they're better in the wintertime for, like, insulation purposes, maybe, even? I don't know. I can't speak to that for sure. But they seem like they're a little more closed off. Maybe they keep you warmer in the winter. I don't know.
I think they're the best compromise, because once you start going straight into briefs, I think we're getting to, personally, discomfort territory. I think boxer briefs is that bridge between that full loosey-goosey boxer situation and that support that you need. I think boxer briefs still goes directly right around in the A territory myself. Maybe very top of the A territory.
You know what? I am feeling that. We're putting it right next to this man in the suit.
You know that man's wearing a pair of boxer briefs.
You know he is. He's wearing that medium-sized boxer briefs. Got a funny design on him, but it doesn't matter because he's got a nice suit on. Wow! We did it!
It took us longer than we thought it would, but we did it. We have tier listed how many articles of clothing? Like 15 articles of clothing or something like that. But we did it! It's official. It is correct. There is no dispute.
Yep.
That's it.
Nope, but we would love to hear your incorrect opinion, so please let us know.
You can let us know on our socials. We have those. Look for Profoundish podcast. Profoundish pod on the socials.
Yeah, at Profoundish pod.
That's right.
Please do. Hey, while we're giving some little shop talk here, feel free to give us a rating on your preferred podcast platform of choice.
Obviously.
I know if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can rate.
Yes, and obviously you've made it this far in the podcast, so clearly you enjoy the show, so 5 stars or the highest qualification that you can give us is clearly deserved.
Absolutely, it's deserved. It's us. Come on! We can't keep rating it ourselves. We gotta have other people do it too!
I can only make so many false accounts.
We're running out! We're running out of false accounts, sir. What do we do now?
But whatever you guys do, I think that has been our podcast. Thank you for spending your time with us.
Yes. Thank you for spending your time with us. It's a lot of fun. We're happy to be doing this show and spending this time with you.
And I hope to see you in the... I won't see you, but I will imagine you here in the room with me, beside me, or Alex. I hope to see you in our next episode of whatever it is that we do.
I'm going to say that imagining you line's kind of creepy, but that's okay. That's all the time we have. We're out of here.
I'm a creepy guy.
We'll see you guys next time on Profoundish.
Bye.
Bye.